Hi guys, welcome back to the Creative Corner podcast. We are on episode 6. It's flying by, and past 2 episodes we've had guests on, and we've got another amazing guest today. So, welcome back. If you're new here, please subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and leave a comment as to what you want to see here on the Creative Corner. If you're new, my name's Callum.
I'm Sam.
And we're about to dive into our guests. Hello, Fran.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me on your podcast, my first ever podcast.
Is it?
It is.
I didn't realise that's cool.
Yeah, I've never done one before. Always wanted to do one. Yeah.
To be honest, actually, when we was when we did Luke's kind of like first guest.
Yeah.
And it's totally different to us two talking. When me and Sam talk, just like rambling stuff.
Yeah.
And we actually come to these podcasts with a guest and actually go, we need some notes or something.
Yeah, you have
to
to ask
talk
them
about.
something, yeah. Yeah, because we're all just like nervous.
And I was just like, so tell us about your journey. I was like, oh God.
Yeah,
And then me and Sam talk, so we just start nerding out.
Yeah.
Maybe we should cut that bit out. That was a bit long, or maybe not. But having a guest is completely different. So, I think we're going to dive into it straight away with a taste test of your brand. And I think, well, you two have already opened it, so I better get cracking.
Can you do it in front of the mic, some ASMR? Yeah.
There's some people are going to love this, aren't they?
Yeah.
Refreshing. Right, Sam, you have never had Riviera.
No, I haven't, but I'm excited because the peach iced tea is... iced tea is me anyway. I love a bit of iced tea, and peach iced tea.
So as Sam's tasting it, Fran, talk to us about why Riviera. Why did you start an iced tea brand?
So I started the brand whilst I was... Where do I look, by the way? You're going to have to cut this
Just
out.
talking to us.
Okay.
Yeah, just talk to us. It's just a conversation.
Okay.
Don't even ignore
I was
that.
like, do I look
Ignore
at the
that
camera?
thing. Yeah. These guys just don't want to be spoken to.
No. Basically, you treat them with contempt.
Yeah.
Don't even look at you.
Yeah, so I was at uni doing criminology, always wanted to be in the police since I was about 10 years old. And then during lockdown, realised I definitely did not want to be in the police. So it was a complete 180. And I just realised I just wanted to be my own boss. Typical, I wanted a bit more freedom. I wanted the creative freedom as well, like to take something in the direction I wanted to take it in. So I did a bit of freelance social media marketing, and it was so frustrating. Everyone, like, you give them ideas, they don't take it. So I just wanted to do it myself. And I saw a gap in the market. A lot of people stopped drinking. I don't drink as much now. And I just saw a gap to be able to get iced tea onto menus here. Obviously, it's on every menu in Europe and the US, but it's just not in the UK. But obviously, I know it's a proven thing, sort of Lipton, proven in retail. All my friends love it. So I wanted to create something a bit more premium in a nice can, sleek can. Just get it into like farm shops, cafes, restaurants, things like that. Nice. So it's been going for 2 years. And then about 140 venues. And then this year I've been really trying to increase like brand awareness, D2C, which is where Callum came in. And we started doing a bit more work together. And yeah, it's been going well. It's been tough. The first year I was working ridiculous hours in hospitality to try and pay the bills. But I was able to kind of scale that down this year. So being able to like really focus on growing it, employed a couple of people kind of part-time. So yeah, it's been really fun.
What's the journey been like then the past few years? I mean,
it's been rough. I mean, costs so expensive.
And still climbing.
There's still climbing. There's an excuse for everything. Like it was COVID, then it was Suez Canal, then it was Brexit. There's an excuse for everything rising, and unfortunately, like suppliers have to swallow it because obviously wages haven't caught up. So the cafes can't just charge endless amounts. So someone's got to swallow it somehow, and the cafes can't swallow it because they've got so many like bills to pay. So yeah, it's us, and our margins are just getting lower.
And the hard part for you, I suppose, with being a new brand, you can't justify passing those on to the customers because obviously you're still trying to establish.
Yeah, because I'm trying to persuade
like,
them.
You've got someone that like recognises like Lipton iced tea, and they go, I like that. Oh, it's 20p more. I'll just go for that.
Well, the brands are available.
They would look at this. Yeah, they'd look at this and go, well, I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
and it's like,
we don't know if it's going to sell.
Oh, it's a £5 a can. Probably not going to bother.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It kind of hit me when we was actually filming in London, and we're handing some freebies out and stuff, and we turn our head, and then someone was holding the iced tea. I walked into one of the coffee shops, and someone had brought the iced tea, and
that
I was like,
cool.
Yeah, this is cool.
It's still like so cool. When I go to some of my stockists, like just because I like eating there, and there'll just be like people sat next to me drinking it, and I'm like, that's so cool.
And nobody knows it's you.
No one knows
and you're
it's
like
me.
sat there,
Yeah,
and around the table, the same people are drinking your product.
It's
that must
really
feel
cool.
good right now. Like,
I remember I went to like my co-working space, and somebody was drinking it, and I was just like, oh my god. And I should have said hi, like I should have like said something, but they were just like sat across the room just like drinking it, and they must have bought it at, like, I don't know, a shop or a market or something. That was really cool. It was like a cool moment because it's
what you say though is true though, because like as I was saying, I love iced tea, but so when I go somewhere like to a restaurant, if it's on the menu, I always order it, but it's very rarely there. You end up gravitating towards like Diet Cokes or whatever,
fizzy drinks
and instant review. You actually, this is a very stupid thing to say. What I actually like about it is you actually get like a little bit, or the actual tea taste is quite pronounced.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Whereas like you have the Lipton and sometimes it's just like synthetic peach.
Yeah.
Whereas this
super sweet.
Yeah, like this you actually get a little bit of the tea with it.
Lipton, you get all the artificial, they've got so many artificial sweeteners, which obviously people are starting to clock on to now. So yeah, I'm bringing out like a no added sugar range because I just think it's so important. It's like that.
October.
October.
Where can they find it? Where can they find you?
It'll be online at first, boxes of 6, and then it'll start rolling out into like health food shops and things like that.
Because obviously this is still low calorie. This whole can's what, 50 calories or something like that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so that's 50. The raspberry mint's the least of everything.
Yeah, my first time actually having this one. It was unreal. I want to know actually what creatively behind it. You know, the whole the Sun and Riviera and like why?
Yeah, how many iterations was there before we got here?
Oh, there was so many. I remember there was the whole debate, which sounds really, I found a bit cringe when I say it, but there was a whole debate of whether to get my name in it, which I was so against, but so many people were like, you should try and get your name into it. And I was like, what, Fran's iced tea? That sounds awful. But everyone was like, yeah, well, Lipton, like it was the guy's surname who originally created it. And do you know what I mean? It's quite often comes from things like that. But it's weird, isn't it?
Because you hear that word, and I wouldn't ever think that. You just think that's a brand name.
Just a household name. Yeah. There's so many which were like originally, I mean, Haribo, it was, the guy's name was like something Haribo. And, but yeah, a lot
of brands do it.
Yeah, a lot of them do it, but I just think in the early days it's weird. But yeah, so it was actually, I wanted it to be all kind of like Taste of the Mediterranean, because obviously that's where people start drinking it. It's usually when they're on holiday in like Spain or France or, so, and it's obviously quite a summery drink. And then my mum actually came up with the name because of kind of the French Riviera. So you say the Spanish Riviera. So that's where it kind of came from. And then I worked with a branding agency to get it all done. And I kind of literally just sent him kind of photos of like basically my holidays. And I was like, this is what kind of I'm aiming to achieve with like the look and feel of it. So all the colours are very like aesthetic. It's very like kind of sunset and summery. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
How long have you been like creating business or had the mindset? Where did it come from? Where did it, like starting a business? A lot of people either start it because they're living in the ghetto and want something, or like they've got like a business that's been passed down or something. You've literally from a young age been starting businesses and doing this creatively making these.
It was quite embarrassing like now, but when I was at school, the markets you get abroad, like the dodgy markets. So I went to them, and I remember I think I was 12, and I bought a load of like trousers off the market. And those kind of trousers everyone's wearing now, like the stripy kind of linen-y.
Yeah.
I went and I like haggled the price, and I think I got them for like, I said to them like, if I buy 10, we're giving me for a $5 each, and they're like 15. And I think she felt bad for me, so she gave them, and then I like sold them on to my mates at home. And like obviously I made like enough money to some packet of sweets, like I sold them for like £7 probably. But yeah, like that's kind of how I started it. And it was so fun, like bargaining with everyone.
You just kind of enjoy the process of starting a business.
It was fun. I did an Instagram, and I took loads of photos of me wearing them. Was
that your first
on holiday? Yeah, obviously not registered because I was 12.
First side hustle,
cash only. But yeah, and then I started during lockdown. There was actually like an ex of mine had his own business, and he was like, let's do something. And we started doing a bit of influencer marketing. That's a very tough industry. Like unless you're Molly May, you don't make enough money. So I was working crazy hard, negotiating, and I was getting 20%, but these deals were like £300. So it was not enough money. Then did social media marketing, and I loved that. That was kind of before TikTok. TikTok I don't have a clue about. Like I had to get help for that.
You're smashing TikTok at the minute. We'll get onto that.
Yeah, and so I did it for hospitality, and it was a very tough time for hospitality. So A few of them closed down because of COVID. Some of them, when I knew it was time to end is when I had a chain who was like my bread and butter, and I built them up really well, and they then had enough money to hire someone full time.
Yeah.
And they were like, you can have it if you want, and I couldn't because I had a couple other clients, and I was like, great.
Start getting rid of freelance.
Yeah.
It's the same as like when if you're an accountant and like a business grows, they hire an accountant and then they build an accounts team.
Yeah.
And they have a whole account, and it's like, well, I'm gone now. Like,
you've helped them too much.
Do you want to be in?
Well.
And I'm like, well, no, I've got 10 other businesses to look after, and you can't in. So I guess raising the business, we're kind of doing it with creation.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
With the whole media side that we're doing, we obviously want to have an office, a space, an in-house facility. So it's a goal.
Bear in mind, you've said that we haven't spoken about that at all in the podcast.
Oh, don't even tell them about it yet. This is to come, actually. We're going to... You'll see
That's
a little bit.
Episode.
It's a whole episode.
Can we do it with creation? We're like, yeah.
Just sprinkle it in there. You know what I mean? And then, we'll do a whole talk on that podcast together, because you're going to see some amazing stuff if you're listening here on YouTube about that. But anyway, it's not about us today. Sam always likes to make it about us.
100%.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is. Fran, should we jump into a couple of questions?
Yeah.
I want to dig a little bit deeper. So we talk about the whole branding stuff.
Yeah.
You've not recently, I guess, but you've had a personal brand for a little bit of while.
Yes, I have.
Why the personal brand? What's it about? Tell us.
So it was actually an older lady who was mentoring me, and she said, you need to get on TikTok. People will find it interesting, the fact you are like 22, and people find it cool, like what you're doing, and you should just post it. And I was like, the issue I was worried about was coming across unprofessional. So I post kind of the issues that I have. So like when I got scammed by a manufacturer, I lost like 10 grand. I posted about it. Customers love to see that. They love being on the journey with you. They love like the highs and lows. But from a buyer perspective, because I'm working with big buyers of like national chains, would they look at that and think, this is literally some 22-year-old girl, like she doesn't know what she's doing? So that's what I was really worried about. So it took me 18 months of running the business before I even got on TikTok, probably longer. I was really worried about it. But actually, if I'm going to a buyer and I'm saying, look, I've posted this, but actually we have great systems in place, and I currently now have 10,000 customers who are waiting to hear about this launch. They're gonna go for it. It's a no-brainer. And
I think nowadays, we covered this with Luke as well, with things. He's like, I think people are so scared of showing failure.
Yeah.
But generally now, I think failure actually makes you more humanized and makes you more relatable.
Yeah.
You know, it's no different to if you're like, you could potentially show like your early videos that would be nowhere near. No, but you're you
could do like comparisons.
But this is like, you're not just coming onto the market. I'm a videographer. This is me looking dead good. It's like I've had to learn.
Yeah.
A long way. We was actually speaking about this on the train to London.
And this thing, like, if you're like a fitness and fat loss coach, you can show when you've been overweight or when you've tried to track your calories and lose weight and it's not worked, or you've done
you've coached someone to lose their first pound.
People love to see it.
Yeah, people love that realism where it shows you the human side, so you can go, you know what, I'm learning. I am new to this growing business, and every day the business gets bigger, which is a new challenge, which is something that you've probably not dealt with before. And then I have made mistakes, but look how well I'm doing as a result. So it's I think sometimes people are quite scared of showing the failure, but that's actually what gets people more to resonate with you.
They do, actually. What have you found since growing the personal brand in terms of your own branding as well?
I've got the same followers now currently as it stands, or 200 more on, say, the personal branding side than the business account. I've kept the business account very professional, just showing like behind the scenes, but like in a professional, like come on a shoot with us kind of thing. And the things we get up to, interviewing people in London, like what I did with Callum. And it's that side, I don't get many orders from it, but the personal branding side, it's just going crazy because people, they, like you say, they buy into people. If I have a bad day at a market and I post about it, people are like, oh, if they were going to buy anyway, they're like, this is a good time, it will cheer her up.
That's the concept I like. You're coming home, you're still in your jacket on the kitchen side, going, I've just had this lady, you start talking about it. I think
exactly.
Resonates with people a little bit more, like you say, people buy people. So I always say building a personal brand alongside an actual a business can help. Like Gymshark do the same thing. Nike, although there's not a face to it, they have other athletes that are the personal brand to represent. So people fall in love with that person through and through. They wear Nike, I'm wearing Nike. And it's the same thing, like you're building your personal brand, Fran Startup. And that is just resonating with so many people. Like, talk to us about the comments. What have you had? What's the feedback on the personal brand? Because it's been quite a journey, quite a mixture.
There's ups and
downs.
We've had a lot of conversations. I remember the first time we were going on a shoot, me and Callum, and it was like my first big shoot, so I was so excited. We'd got like a couple of girls like involved. There was 4 of us. Like, it was a whole thing, really coordinated. And that night, the night before, someone had trolled, like, well, a load of people had trolled me. Like, one of my videos got pushed out to a load of trolls. And honestly, I was devastated, wasn't I? Like, it was messing with my brain. I couldn't focus on the shoot. I was so upset because, I mean, people were telling me to like kill myself. Like, it was honestly, and I was like, I've got 1,000 followers. Why do they care? Like, I'm not like some celebrity.
They're talking about all of us working for free and going, you're not paying them, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they were saying I was like it was like slave labor. And I was like, I'm sat with these 3 people. Callum's freelancer. He's got his own set rate. These girls I was paying, I didn't have to pay them. They were here for work experience. But I was paying them. I paid for everyone's lunch and travel. Like, and I was like, why have I got some idiot?
The thing is, like, they won't have like they'll have seen like the top line and then gone, I can attack that.
Exactly.
Because I mean, it doesn't matter.
They wait for you to buy.
It's so hard to, especially when it's something that you're passionate about. Someone attacks you, and they've not forgotten they've even posted that, but it lives with you. Yeah. Because I mean, like, I've not got loads of followers on certain pages. And I remember years ago, I got a photograph, a comment on one of my photography ones, and it was just like a sunset photo. And it was, why are you using loads of filters on your post-production? Probably because you're a rubbish photographer. And I was like, that's literally straight out of the camera. I started writing, I had an ND filter. And I was
just
like,
the sunset.
Why am I justifying myself?
I had one recently, and I was on a shoot, and when I film these videos, those of you that you know, on a Sony, I film in S-Log. It's a grey colour profile. It's all flat, and I set the monitor up on the screen and everything, and I point it at someone, and I've got all the lights, and they're like, the lighting's terrible. You need a ring light, and this, that. I'm going, ring light? I was like, what?
Behind your camera.
And then I'm trying to explain, like, this is not the image that you see on the camera. And I'm like, no, I ain't got to explain that. Like, my work speaks for itself. And it's a lot of people like to kind of put the 2 pence in, and I don't know what they get out of it, I guess.
I don't have a clue. Some of them were just insane. I mean, I was getting called a narcissist. Like, oh God, it was just awful. And I was so upset. And I remember being like, am I coming across as a narcissist? Like, I really
you
start
questioning yourself, don't you?
You start then, and I'm like, I could have said that differently. Maybe they didn't get what I was trying to say. Like, yeah, it was awful. And I remember I just turned off the comments on that post, and I still get them since. But interestingly, I posted the other day, because I turned on like the filter, posted a TikTok about it, like trolls. I thought I was getting no trolls, but I just accidentally filtered them all out. And a couple of people commented saying, we previously trolled you, but you handled it well. Like, we're sorry. I wish your business well.
Wow.
They apologised. So I was like, nice. And I obviously just accepted it. I was like, yeah, fair enough. Like, I'll accept that.
I don't get. I just don't understand it. I mean, do you remember, when was it, last year when I did the burpee challenge thing?
Yeah.
So I did an endurance challenge. It was pretty gross, but it was for 2 charities. It was for blood cancer and for a school that helps like disabled kids, and that was it. And then the local paper did like an article on it, and they posted it, and it was like, local man does this for charity and raised X amount. Like, how can that upset anybody? Comment, gym monkey does gym things, not impressed. Like, what more do you want from me?
Literally helping charity and hating on it. Yeah. No, it's crazy, and I don't really know what. And also the thing is as well, like, people comment saying my business is going to fail, and all of these like things like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. This is what you should do differently. And I'm like, I have mentors who have actually worked for Mars, Tesco, like huge people who are advising me, yet some TikTok person, and I ask them what their experience is. They've never worked in an industry. They've never anything that could even help me. And I'm like, mate, why are you getting this from?
But because it's easy to be negative, isn't it? Like, I know this
super.
Like, I've noticed recently. So, because of how busy I'm at the minute, I've decided to close applications for online coaching. So I did a bit of a clickbaity post, don't know whether you saw it or not. Yeah. But I look at my insights and say I get, I don't know, say 400 to 500 reach on a post, just a standard picture post. So, but the front picture of my clickbaity post was the doors to SR Fitness are closing.
Yeah.
And then the slides after it explained why. that had triple the engagement because people saw it.
People, he's failed.
Yeah, exactly. People thought, he's given up his quitting.
Why is there a stigma?
Yeah. So if I was like, if I just put, I'm opening 3 slots for coaching, nothing, but because it was a clickbaited to make people think I was closing because it was failing, triple the engagement.
They love failure.
Do you think there's like a stigma attached to young people starting businesses and also a successful business using these kind of like tactics? Because there's so much more engagement when kind of a young person is going through kind of a trouble with a business. They're like, haha.
Oh yeah,
it's not easy.
I mean, it's all middle-aged men like commenting, and it's like
who are deeply unhappy with what they're doing in life and just resent the fact that someone's
actually doing something.
Yeah, I mean, I had the worst troll I had was it was going on for months. I mean, I don't delete the comments because it's good engagement, good for good for reach.
Just thumbs up to everything.
But he was just insane, and he was the one saying like I was getting slave labour off like Callum and he was going on. It was every post I did. I don't know how he was even seeing me because he didn't follow me. But every post he would comment. And I let it go because it was so ridiculous. He was telling me my business is fake and that I was scamming people. And I was like, but I'm not taking anyone's money. I'm not like doing a course or anything. Like I'm not. And he was saying it was fake. And I was like, mate, here's a photo of it in a fridge of like a national chain. And he was like, no, you've obviously just taken a photo of it in there.
It's AI generated.
Yeah, and he's like saying that I got my dad to pay for a load of samples and then I've gone around the country. And then I've got randomers jumping to my defence being like, mate, you can see it on Company's House. Yeah. Like she's literally done her up-to-date accounts.
How much you saved and how much you invested yourself and then lost as well. Like you've lost
when you've done
cash.
all of that, when you've worked like 7 days a week, every day for the past like 2 years and someone's telling you your business is fake and you're scamming people, because I don't want impression, especially my target market is 16 to 35. I don't want some 16-year-old seeing that and thinking I'm not buying it, she's going to scam me. And I actually blocked him because the recent post he said, I reached out, I like trolled him and I said, send me your full name and address and I'll send you some iced tea because I thought then I'll know who he is.
Call him out,
and he replied saying no thanks because I'll get poisoned. And I was like, okay, now I've got to block him because people are going to believe this guy.
Right.
God, it was just, it's weird.
I think one of the most impressive things, so when Callum was telling me about you coming on and you hit business, obviously for someone of your age to launch their own drinks company is quite niche. It's you could potentially lean to more stereotype of like, like clothes, like athletic stuff, makeup, hair, whatever it would be. So for a drinks company, so knowing what it would require from a cost point to actually start it, my main question was like, how did she start? Like, where did the money come from? And like the automatic response for most people probably think, she's probably been given the money to start.
Yeah, for sure.
For Callum to be like, she's always been business minded. She started working businesses when she was very young. She's worked so hard. She's generated X amount that she's invested. It makes the story even more impressive that it's completely self-funded. So for someone of your age to do a drink that is self-funded is incredibly impressive and hard. So for some randomer to be like, going to fail.
They don't realise. I mean, if you look at your personal brand, especially when you talk about the first time you got a big tax bill and your deposit for a house was gone, the cans that went wrong and losing £10,000 of your own money, and you've been through a lot of processes and experience with a new business at a young age. How was that to overcome?
It's so. I remember when the cans went off and I knew I'd lost 10 grand. That was the worst day of my life. I was just sobbing. Like I was probably no one wanted to be around me that night. I was absolute mess. I am going through court with the guy, so that's a whole new experience because I didn't think I'd be 24 years old in court. But hopefully I'll get it back. But yeah, it's obviously I've had to stomach that because it happened a year ago. So I've had to stomach it for a year. But because of my age, I've got lots of grants. Councils are actually really good for grants. UK Prosperity Fund, it's called. They've helped fund kind of production runs, grants for mentoring. My uni gave me free mentoring. Like there's so much out there. It's hard. And honestly, I think you do have to come from a background of privilege. There's no way about it, because the easiest thing for me, which a lot of people aren't in my position, is I've lived with my parents and I live with my parents. So all I have to pay is bills, and that is a godsend. I wouldn't be here doing that without them. So if you come from a background where you have to move out at 18, there's not enough help. There's just not enough help out there. And I've taken a loan recently to do a next production run. UK startup loan, because it's just the money required is insane, and you just can't. It's so hard to get investment.
A lot up front, haven't you?
So much up front. My manufacturers want everything up front, but the national chains, the big retailers, don't pay you for 60 days.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like, I'm going to get it in 60 days, but how do I afford it up front?
You talk about all these financial difficulties and things that people can actually get when they start a business. You talk about that on your personal brand as well, don't you? So
yeah. And it's difficult, people coming in. So like there's been a couple of competitors who have launched with so much money, and I've had to do everything. I mean, me and Callum were in London with a bit of cardboard, which is from the bottom of my palette, and I wrote on it free iced tea, and we're stood there in London holding this up. Like that is literally what we've been doing.
Yeah.
We've been walking around.
You could say that was like the like a takeoff, the meme of the famous meme of the guy holding the sign.
Oh
we were just doing that. I'd be ironic.
It's honestly, we're just doing free, like cheap stuff, aren't we? Like that's how we.
It doesn't have to be. When you talk about marketing and stuff, especially what we was doing, it was kind of almost like community marketing meets hustle marketing meets a little outreach, cold. And we was having a lot of fun with it. I mean, obviously, we've got
it's great
media marketing out of that and social marketing out of that with influencer marketing out of that. Just from that one trip to London,
we got so much.
We hit 7 or 8 core pillars.
And we were interviewing people, trying it, getting great feedback. So it got so much social proof. Like it's if you do it well and if you do it coordinated. I got a couple of months content out one day. So it was. And that's the kind of thing you have to do. The difficult side is the things like the sales, because there's people launching and just hiring like salespeople out the bat, and they're my competitors, and that is rough watching that.
How do you find, with your background in the social media side of things, how do you find staying on top of that with running the business? Do you find because you can do it, you still want to do it?
By the way, from outside it looks like you're breezing these socials.
but obviously it's a massive time.
It's so much time.
It's a time constraint. So like, how do you? Is it because? And also, I know a lot of business owners, they obviously want to do it.
Yeah.
And there's the people that do it because they want to, but maybe don't do it great. But it still takes time.
Yeah.
But because you can do it, do you find that hard to let go of? Because obviously it's your personal brand as well. But it's taking you away from running other aspects of the business.
Because it does take a lot of time. I think for me, I love the personal branding because I enjoy it. So I would keep my page forever. Plus it's that personal feel. Yes. But the Riviera Iced Tea account, if I had the cash, I'd send that off tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would hire someone tomorrow for that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time. I think to build a brand page, it's hard. The reach is awful on the brand page. I mean, I'll post basically the same video and it'll get 5 times as much reach on the personal one. I don't know how that works algorithm-wise, whether it's flagged. So I've got TikTok shop linked, whether there's something there, but...
It does, yeah.
It's just...
We spoke about the TikTok algorithm, and you actually implemented a few different techniques, didn't you, to your personal brand, and it's been going.
It's been really good. I kind of adopted a more... I started doing a bit more of a strategic approach. So I would look at everything in 3s. So a bit like a funnel, I guess. Someone told me it was like a funnel. This is a top tip, by the way. Someone told me this is like a funnel. I had no idea this was a funnel. I was just messing around. But I just started posting. So I'd do one post for kind of community. So it would literally be something relevant to, say, business owners, but not my brand. So it would be, say, I spoke about co-working or working from home or time, freedom, I don't know. Something that's day in the life. So something's focused towards me, which gets way less views, but gets more follows. And then lastly, something specifically brand. So literally, I own Riviera Iced Tea. Do you know what I mean?
And this on your personal brand page?
Personal branding page. And so usually I post the first one first, which is like more trending, the community one. It'll be about a trending topic, and I get really good views on that. So I'm hitting like 100k views on most of those, or kind of like 50k. Then, but I'll get, say, 50k views, but like 12 follows, 15 follows. Yeah. Whereas if I post a day in the life, I'll get 300 views, but I'll get 10 follows. Like it's funny how it works. And then usually the brand specific one then pulls in the orders. Yeah. So it's kind of like a funnel, I guess.
It is, yeah. It's a massive funnel. We try and implement it as anyone that comes on board with the videography and our creation side is implementing those funnels. And you can do them through different ways. As you post weekly about these 3 posts, you can do this at top 3 pin pages on Instagram. There's lots of ways you can actually funnel this inside of somebody's business. So that's only one funnel. There's lots of ways to market and to push on TikTok and Instagram. And obviously your content on your personal brand could get at a point where you're getting paid from TikTok to create. You're getting paid for going live, and you're ultimately then getting paid for the views that go over to River Iced Tea and buy your brand.
Yeah, clicks, all about website clicks. And I've learned so much from it. So I've just hired someone digital marketing wise, obviously all still creative. But that's been eye-opening because I found out that I was getting hundreds of add to carts, but when they got through to shipping costs, they were then going off.
They're doing SEO stuff, they're doing ads.
SEO, started doing blogs.
Back-end.
Started doing looking at stories on Instagram, making them just more valuable for people to actually watch. So I've started running kind of a mini competition on my stories. I've started running, I did a challenge with myself where I posted every day something different for a month, and if I fail, whoever liked the previous stories gets a free box.
Oh, nice.
So it just keeps people liking, keeps people interacting.
Coming back to try again. I'll be like that next week.
Everyone's like liking it most days. Great, because it just builds a community. People are like paying attention. I also have been really updating my email marketing, so just sending out more interesting things, send out payday, last chance to get it before the bank holiday I did for August. And it's just completely changed. I redid my website, new landing page, and that has completely changed the direct to consumer game because I'm actually nurturing these leads instead of just sending them over wildly from my TikTok.
You're actually funneling them in and putting them somewhere.
Because I mean, there's people who, I've got automations now, so they sign up to, everyone subscribes, they get 10% off kind of thing. They sign up. If they then haven't ordered after 2 days, I send them a nudge. If they've not ordered after 4, they get 10% off to encourage them to buy.
Is this through email?
Yeah, so all automated. They then, once they order, they'll get like an upsell email next week. It's completely just keeping everyone together.
Has that changed the sales, the brand?
It's completely changed
because you're a summer
sales.
Kind of like a big on summer this year, peak.
Yeah,
how are you approaching
huge.
the winters? What's the future look like for Riviera Iced Tea?
I would love to start exporting to try and make the most of some of those warmer climates. I have bought the new functional range, will be coming out in October. That's a kind of world first. No one's done a functional iced tea. So
is that like a caffeinated, in functional?
So it's got vitamins.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it'll kind of help with. Well, I'll push into like the winter colds, things like that. People who don't like hot drinks, but people had their honey, lemon, and ginger when they have a cold. Yeah. This is the cold version.
I was talking to Sam as well. The content that I liked, what you started posting about is actually making cocktails from iced tea. That was really cool.
Yeah, and that got kind of a lot of ideas, and then it was kind of a soft sell because I would tell people about it, and then if they want an easier one, they
and we actually had it in London. Can you remember?
Yeah,
a guy. We had like one can left.
Oh,
and we was walking around, and this guy come up to us and was like, I've missed my train.
Yeah.
I've rang my wife, and I'm going to have to make her drive 40 minutes to come pick me up. Do you think that deserves an iced tea? And we was like, yeah, here you go. And he's like, well, I was like, can you do a taste test? And he was like, well, it's not for me. Later, I think it's for my wife, and we're going to put it with some gin.
Yeah. Loads of people do that, actually. It's funny because there's kind of two angles. Like a lot of my customers are non-drinkers who want something a bit more interesting on a Friday and Saturday night, and I'm probably in that category. And then there's some who love it as a mixer. So even my mum loves it as a mixer. The lemon and raspberry mint work really well with gin.
I bet your fridge is full of iced tea.
It is, yeah. Yeah, my boyfriend just drinks it all day. Yeah, it's good.
So,
we kind of spoke. Is there anything you want to add there, Sam, before I get into this game?
The only thing I'd say is, just to cycle back to something we said a while ago, is I know you said it's very hard. It's only achievable if you come from a place of privilege.
Yeah.
If I think personally, I'd say give yourself a little bit more credit, because if you're classing privilege as just living at home with your parents, there are literally millions of people that live at home with their parents and are doing nothing. With the best one in the world, they are literally.
I know a lot of those.
Yeah, they aren't even thinking about researching government grants. Looking, they'll sit and moan they've got no money. But they're not going out and even looking for the help. So I wouldn't for me. If someone that came from privilege, it would be. Oh, I went to my mum and dad and went, I want to start a business, and they went, cool, here's 50k, off you go. For me, that's privilege. Yeah. Just literally having a roof over your head, I wouldn't say it's privilege.
I think the thing as well, giving myself the credit, I think there's a lot of people who. So my parents own their own business, and a lot of people know about that. So when I got on the New York Advertiser, and people recognize my surname and were like, oh, her parents must run the business.
Yeah.
My dad was a tradie. Like, he was in concrete. Like, he has no idea about a drink. And the only people that I have any experience from, I have no family connections. The people I've got are people that I've approached my local council and been like, who's in the council, who can give me some advice? And then they gave me free mentoring from this lady who lives in Newark, who used to work for Mars. And then my uni put me onto someone who works for a wholesaler. And I think it is that you have to go out there and research. I didn't want to just sit around. I know a lot of my friends just want to sit around. Like, they're just content as long as they can afford their like forest season ticket, and I think that's absolutely fine.
Terrible decision that is.
But yeah, I think you have to be driven. I mean, I earn way less money than the majority of my friends because I'm reinvesting everything. I don't take a wage. On yesterday, what day are we on? On Monday, I was literally working for a car garage all day and then having to come home and work at night. I do pot washing. I do like the craziest jobs.
Well, this is what people don't see from the outside. But then like when it's like 10, 20 years down the line and then you can spend all the money you've made and they're still doing payday to payday to payday. Yeah. That's where it pays
This is something
off.
you're about as well, isn't it? Is you want to not necessarily go out and party and enjoy life now.
Yeah.
You're really strong at setting a very successful business up in the long run to be taking yourself, your partner and your kids to a 5-star hotel to enjoy a holiday rather than scrimping on hostels and eating cheap food now. Yeah. You'd rather set something up so you can enjoy in the future. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think I did the partying too young. I got it out of my system. I had the fake ID and I was doing it at 16, 17.
She wasn't paying tax. She got fake ID.
No, I'm an absolute criminal.
It's from Newark, mate. You know what I mean? We're all like that.
Yes, I did it too young. And then I got to uni and I was not interested. I mean, my uni housemates thought I was boring as anything. And I worked full-time all through uni because I was just like, I want to earn money now, like I'm bored. And so I've just worked crazy hours, and then I got a job at a hospitality venue. Again, this is where all the money's come from. I worked 70-hour weeks, if not more. I was working 7 days a week. I do 12-hour shifts.
Into that, didn't you? Yeah.
I put everything into that job. Like, I literally poured my heart and soul. I would sleep on the floor there because they'd have me until 2 a.m. and then they'd have me back in at 6. And I just was like, yeah, I'll help. I'll do it. I was actually a duty manager there, and then they promoted me to operations. And it felt great. You know, they were telling me how much they appreciate me, and then it all went tits up, basically. And something went wrong, and they just needed a full guy, and it wasn't me. And I didn't get fired, but they said, listen, we can't put you on shifts. Like, we need you to leave because it's you or them. And it was a caterer who is a horrible woman, and she's more important. Like, they can't find a new caterer at the drop of a hat, but they can find a new bar staff. Yeah. So I just got flung aside, and that's when I was like, I need to work for myself. I can't help build another business to get none of the rewards. And
the thing is, there's like an offset, isn't there? Like there's definitely a beauty in being able to know what you're doing know what you want to do at such a young age, because that can be singular focus. Yeah. But then, like, I'd say for myself, I mean, I'm 40, and how old are you?
26.
Yeah. But to find what you want to do a little bit later in life is also really cool, because I've like, you know, I was a design engineer for 20 years, and then it was like, then I went to fitness, and then there's the design side, then there's this, and like
most recently,
and then like finding what you want to do. Yeah. I think as long as you find what you want to do at some point in your life,
don't put pressure on it. Yeah, I've changed. I left college and was.
I've known you in loads of different jobs.
Yeah, I was fitting kitchens, then I was working for the gym. I was in gym management. Then I was in the travel industry and was traveling and
online
touring
coaching.
people. Was online coaching. I've had so many different businesses and things that paths have ultimately led to what I am doing now and where I am now.
And this, from an outsider, this is like your thing. Like, I hope 100%. You don't change again. Because
you better not change again.
Yeah. Because honestly,
there's a lot of people who rely on me right now.
This is like your. I mean, as a customer of yours, you are so creative, like brain. Like, it's going on a shoot. If anyone's watching this who hasn't been on a shoot with Callum, you need to book him in, because we have fun. Like, he's very creative. But yeah, it is knowing what I want to do now. I mean, someone said to me yesterday, actually, if this fails, will you start another business? And I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I just really want this to work. But I think I will struggle to go and work for someone again, because I think I have that in me. You know, when, I don't know what it is, people probably try and diagnose it, but I'm hyper focused like on something, and I like don't want to speak to anyone else. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And I even have that working for other people. And that's why I was working 100 hours a week, 70-hour weeks, because I was so obsessed with it. And if I work for someone else, I'm just going to make myself unhealthy.
You don't want to let yourself down. Personal pride, I think, is a huge thing for you.
I think it is. But I imagine if I'm working for someone else, I would pour my heart and soul. I'd be working overtime.
And you're just a number.
And they wouldn't notice, probably.
Things I've said that to you before. I was like, so I'm very similar in that. Like, so when I was in engineering, I never really enjoyed engineering, but I always did very well because exactly as you've said, I would 100%, like if it was, we need to get this job done by 8 o'clock tonight, I would get in at 4 in the morning.
Doesn't matter.
Like, I wouldn't be paid for it, but because the work ethic was there.
You just wanted to.
And then employers potentially take advantage of that because they know it'll get done. So that was when I had the conversation, actually fun enough, with Luke, when I was going into fitness, and I was like, the way I see it is, I'm so committed to working for someone else. Yeah. If I apply that to myself,
see how far you can get.
Like how could it fail, sort of thing. I think if you've got that mindset,
we've had a lot of conversations like this. How my business was born off a conversation us two had, and the new business we've got going on now is another conversation we had at this table. So
although I won't lie to you, I do every day wake up and live in fear that you're just gonna message me like, I'm in Bali.
I know, I have that fear as well, because I want him to do all my content.
Like content, like he's just.
No, I have reassured people that I'm
sticking around.
I'm sticking around. Like, it's my first. I've had the first summer in the UK for 3 years.
Yeah.
I've been full-time travel for 3 years. I am sticking around.
Just go to the Lake District.
I've been to that. Just got back. So yes, I am sticking around. There will be a Japan trip for a month, so you'll have to. Like January, February next year, just block that out. You know, I won't be around. But no, I am. I've truly found something here, and again, I take a pride in it, like yourself, and I've always been interested in cameras and the media side of my businesses, so to help people on the other end of that, and every time I press record on a camera, just creative ideas, I just go bang, 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 bang.
That's what's noticeable.
It's so nice for me to just get them out and help people.
It's what excites you as well, like even something daft, like we were on the phone.
Yeah, talking about it now, I sit up and I'm like...
It was Monday night, wasn't it? We were on the phone and we were like an hour and a half just talking about the business, clients, what needed doing, and all this sort of stuff. And it was genuinely quite
Me and Sam
exciting.
go through operations and getting on the same thing. We've got stuff like a Notion calendar now we share. Yeah. I'm in there adding notes all the time.
I can imagine it, because I know what you're like when you get talking about it, like on trains when we've been going to shoots, and it's like the people next to us must be like, who are these yappers?
I was so proud, like a video that I've just done of like a Define collab with Ryan, and she was like, oh my God, this is a sick video, and it's like, compared to the past videos, what you've done now, it's like, yeah, look at me, I'm doing this.
It's like even when I was building that Notion like client and lead tracker, I was making it all pretty and aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I
fell in love with it straight away.
I was like, I said to Cab, like, he's gonna love that. Then they've got a message saying, mate.
I looked at it straight. I was like, yeah.
I look. It's when you're excited for like other people as well, isn't it? Like that. I think that's the thing. Like I've got a group chat of like, I don't know, like 30 of us, and we're all kind of similar age building like things. There's like,
you've got a good community.
Yeah, and it's so fun. Like last night I went live and like they all joined and we were all asking each other questions. They're we've been giving each other advice, just picking each other up. And I just, again, going back to trolls, like I'm always so happy for like my friends. Like I don't,
and you're doing,
I don't have that. I don't know whether that's because I'm happy with it and that's why. But like, I'm shouting out loads of small businesses at the minute because like no one else does. But yeah, I just don't have that in me. I'm like buzzing for all my friends.
With people around me, I've always done better when somebody else is in the business. I've always done better when I have community support, like-minded people.
Sure.
So.
But that's good though that you've got that community of like-minded people, because it's, if you like, you'll have these little wins that are amazing, or you might have had a problem and you might try and talk to one of your friends who just does a 9 to 5, and you'll be like, this and this has happened. They'll be like, cool.
You're actually helping another canned drink brand, aren't you? Like,
yeah, loads.
Yeah,
loads of people message me, but I literally, so every couple of weeks I'll speak to a founder who is way ahead of me, like 3 years ahead. So I've spoke to so many kind of bigger brands and just asked their advice, and people are so friendly in this industry. Food and drink, if anyone wants to get into product, which I don't advise, but if anyone wants to go into product, food and drink is the nicest industry. Like people are just so friendly. Like even like the big brands that you'll buy, most days the guys are lovely. Like there's not many people I've met that aren't nice.
That's awesome.
So it's a great industry.
Okay, we're gonna finish with a game.
Yes.
How well do you think you know Riviera iced tea?
No. I hope well, because I've done it.
Do you think if I could put a variety of iced teas in front of you, you would spot yours?
Oh my
From
God,
look
have
and
you done
taste.
it? Yeah,
Would you be able to?
I hope so.
Okay, so when I was at the shop, I should have gone to like some kind
There's
of
not many iced teas out
Asian
there,
market
so-
and stuff.
You'll
And
have 2 yours. And
I've had to
Lipton.
get a little bit creative, and
Okay.
I might have to make some cocktails rather than iced teas here.
Right, okay.
Just to
gonna
kind of
say,
like
I've
throw
not
you
got-
off a
there's
little
not
bit,
many out
because
there.
when I go to the shop, it's like Lipton's the only iced tea that's in the
Arizona,
fridge.
That's it, yeah.
And unless you go to like an Asian market where there's like the Asian iced teas and
Yeah.
like the Chinese ones and stuff, and like, friend, you're onto something here. And this is what I was like, fuck,
There's
sick.
no one out there.
So I've got a little cocktail of maybe 4 iced teas. I'm going to steal some of yours,
Yeah,
put them in front of you, and see if you can
okay.
guess.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Trending sounds are really, really good.
Oh my God, what's that one? It's dark.
I would really hope the fact you've gone, what is that colour? If that turned out to be yours, that's massively embarrassing.
I know exactly.
You tell me you're gonna chop that and not have us chatting for the next part for the 5
Yeah,
minutes.
let's
we do
keep it in. Why not?
that. God, we did nothing but slag you off.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's get
that's all
chopped
good.
out then.
Like, such a dick.
Okay, we're back. 4 different drinks.
Yeah.
I want you to drink them any order.
Okay.
Any order.
I'm gonna go with the
Smell,
sparrow.
taste, yeah, and then I want you to tell me what you. Is it yours? Is it not yours? And maybe whose you think it is.
Not mine.
What flavour is it?
It's peach.
I mean, straight off the bat, if I was guessing visually, I'd say that was Lipton.
Yeah, Lipton's this colour. I'd say it's Lipton. Lipton peach.
Correct.
1 for 1, nailed it.
Lipton peach tastes different though. They've changed the recipe since I last bought it. I don't buy it anymore.
I think it was a lot. The last time I had Lipton, I was gutted because it didn't taste of anything. It tasted really,
They've
really...
they were really high sugar. They were like 6 grams per 100 ml, and it's a 330 bottle. Rough. So it had all that sugar, but now they've taken the sugar out and put in a load of artificial sweeteners. But there's still more sugar than mine, but there's also artificial sweeteners.
bonus.
Okay.
Whose is this? How it taste?
This isn't mine either.
You sure?
100%.
You like it though?
No, I do like it. Yeah, fair enough.
She should have got a palate cleanser.
Okay, pop that down. We're
Is
gonna
it
come back to
Sainsbury's Own?
No. We'll come back to it.
Sainsbury's Own is very strange tasting. M&S Own's
You
horrible.
should have some water to cleanse your palate. Here. Go. Whose is this
Doesn't
one?
smell like mine. That's my peach iced tea. No. Oh no, I need a palate cleanser. I'm scared.
Okay, set it in, lock it down. Last one.
No, let me try this last one and then I'll know straight away.
Side note, this would make a great TikTok reel for her.
Absolutely.
This is my peach iced tea.
Yeah.
Why can I not taste the difference between peach and lemon now? There are 2 of them in mine.
Yep.
And this is my lemon iced tea. Peach, lemon, someone else's Lipton.
Amazing. So you got the wrong flavour of Lipton. That's lemon, not peach.
Is it?
Yeah.
My taste buds are off today.
There is a mix.
Oh, God, you know when you have mine and then go back to Lipton, it's rank.
You do know. You do yourself. Clip. Clip that.
Nothing else, complete eye contact, just that, and then post.
The first 2 are bang on. They are
They're
your
yours, yeah.
iced tea. And this, you are also correct in terms of it. It's not yours, but it does have yours in it. And
Oh,
it's a
you
little
mixed?
cocktail of a
quite
mix of yours and a Sainsbury's Own. So you got it.
It's
bang
a
on.
Sainsbury's
Yeah,
Own?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And
A mix of yours.
Can we
So I
clip
tried-
all of that?
I tried
I'm like
to
an
catch
iced
you
tea
out, but you
connoisseur.
have absolutely nailed that. Apart from not knowing the flavour between
Sainsbury's
lemon
Own.
and peach,
That's
but
hilarious.
you smashed all of
I
them.
have tried all the iced teas out there. I want to see if anyone's catching me up.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Plug yourself. Where can they find you?
On the website or select retailers. So rivieraiced.com and you can get very nice little packs of 6. or
There will
pint
be
packs.
in the show notes and also in the description of YouTube. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very
It's
much.
been an
Thanks for
absolute
having
pleasure.
me.
Cheers,
It's been
thank you
really
very
fun.
Really, really enjoyed it. Guys, comment, like, subscribe, follow us on all the social platforms and head over to our Instagram. Some shorts of this will be going out, so let us know what you think in the comments. And let us know what you want to hear next or who you want on next, because 2 exciting guests. We've got a lot to follow up with here, Sam.
And no trolling.
No pressure. And no trolling. See you later.
God, I'm definitely going to get trolled from some of these clips. Narcissist.